Now, News Channel 8 News at 7.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Morris Jones. We begin with breaking news involving the deadly biological agent anthrax. News 8 has learned the Defense Department accidentally shipped live anthrax samples to a lab in Maryland. The spores were supposed to be inactive to help scientists develop a new test to detect biological threats. It's not clear yet which Maryland lab received the samples. Samples sent to 8 other labs, including one in Virginia, are now being tested. The CDC says it does not believe there is any risk to the public. We'll keep you updated on this developing story. The D.C. Council has passed the 2016 budget today. Included in the nearly $13 billion budget is $100 million to build more affordable housing in the district. They also include funding for D.C. public and charter school students to ride Metro for free. And 1,600 police body cameras will be added to the force. The council also plans to increase parking ticket fees, but they say that'll be extending meter times in busy parts of town. An update now on the D.C. mansion murders. Today we're hearing for the family of Darren Wint, the only known suspect in the quadruple homicide. In a statement to the Washington Post, Dennis Wint called the murders of the Savopoulos family and their housekeeper heartless. He went on to say, whoever committed these heinous crimes, my son included, will suffer the consequences. D.C. police are still looking for the people they believe helped Darren Wint commit the crimes. And just into our newsroom, a man convicted of murdering a Georgetown University law student will spend life in prison for the crime. Rahul Gupta stabbed Mark Waugh in October of 2013 in a Silver Spring high-rise. Gupta told police he killed Waugh after walking in on his girlfriend cheating on him. During the trial, Gupta claimed his girlfriend actually killed Waugh. Turning now to the weather, and we're getting an early dose of summer this week. Hot and humid temperatures settling in today. Here's meteorologist Devin Lucy with the forecast. Devin.
Help spark showers and thunderstorms today. One cluster of thunderstorms developed to second round southern Maryland. One isolated storm here tonight, and we'll go into Storm Watch 7 live Doppler radar, the last of the rain that's going on right now. And we'll show you that it's fading shower activity towards Fairfax, Loudoun, and Montgomery counties. It's southern Maryland, the last of a cluster of storms that's over the southern tip of Anne Arundel County, south of Shadyside. We had one little shower develop just west of Winchester. It's not doing much. First, Reston, Herndon, Great Falls, back to Sterling and Ashburn, but back south of Poolesville, now Darnestown. Eventually, it's going to push up Gaithersburg way in Germantown. It's going to get the fading shower. If that holds, it's really just rain. There's no thunderstorm activity. South of Shadyside into parts of Anne Arundel County, that storm's going to be lifting northeastward towards the Bay Bridge. Still a couple of widely scattered storms, Lusby, Lexington Park to St. Mary's County. But back west of Winchester's that fading shower, what we did was drop temps. Well, we actually brought humidity up in some cases. Dew point temperatures at 70s, the best measure of humidity you can feel. Invisible water locked up at 70s, really humid. Now, temps subside a little bit Friday, but still it's heat and humidity dominates. Rain chances as well, but we'll let you know and track when. True break to the heat and humidity and where temps will go from there in our full forecast, presented by FH Fur.
We'll see you later. Thank you, Devin. A warning for federal workers tonight about marijuana. The Office of Personnel Management is reminding workers that while marijuana is legal in the district, it's still an illegal drug under federal law. The memo sent out this week details the federal government's restrictions on the use of illegal drugs by workers. Those caught using illegal drugs could face citation, suspension, or termination. Congress is demanding answers about how thieves were able to target the IRS website and steal the personal tax information of more than 100,000 taxpayers. Senator Orrin Hatch, chair of the Senate Finance Committee, is requesting a confidential briefing by IRS officials by the end of next week. The commissioner says the information was stolen as part of a scheme to claim fraudulent tax refunds. The agency is notifying taxpayers whose information was accessed and providing credit monitoring services. The IRS now believes the cyber attack came from Russia. The White House is moving to protect the country's drinking water by passing new rules under the Clean Water Act. The EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers today clarified which smaller bodies of water, like streams and wetlands, are federally protected. The new rule will only affect waters that have a direct and significant connection to larger bodies of water. Critics, including House Speaker John Boehner, say they go too far and will hurt small businesses, farmers, and other landowners. A former advisor to President Obama, who played a critical role in the crafting of the Affordable Care Act, has died. Daniel Meltzer was principal deputy counsel to President Obama in 2009 and 2010. Harvard University announced today that Meltzer died Sunday after a battle with cancer. The 63-year-old was a member of Harvard Law's faculty for more than 30 years. The State Department has filed a proposal outlining a timeline for releasing emails from former Secretary of State and current presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. It wants to start posting the emails to its website on June 30th and continue posting them every 60 days with the goal of all the messages being public by January 15th of next year. The department is still reviewing about 55,000 pages of emails sent from Clinton's private server.
It's time we have a president who sees the struggle of working families in America not as an opportunity to divide us along race or class, but as a chance to unite us around the idea.
In the last hour, Rick Santorum became the 7th Republican running for president. The former senator made the announcement near his hometown in Pennsylvania. Santorum finished second to Mitt Romney in the GOP race 4 years ago. Former New York Governor George Pataki is expected to enter the race tomorrow. On the Democratic side, Martin O'Malley is expected to announce his candidacy on Saturday in Baltimore. Covering Metro tonight, he made a name for himself on a reality show about online scams. Now, a D.C. man is facing real-life charges, accused of making threats against Metro stations, trains, and buses. Kevin Lewis has the details.
Jerez Stone Coleman, accused of pretending to be a terrorist. 11 threats on the Metro system since December at stations like Potomac Avenue and McPherson Square. In one case, the 20-year-old allegedly dialed 911 to report an attack on President Obama's motorcade. Days later, he reportedly threatened to bomb a Metro bus unless police paid him $15 million.
I've never had a case quite like this.
Investigators say Stone Coleman went so far as to describe one Metro bus rider as a wanted terrorist. When police stopped that bus, they cuffed and frisked the innocent man.
That one bothers me the most because he involved a private citizen, another patron, into his game of whatever he was doing.
Police arrested Stone Coleman today at a home along Fort Davis Place in Southeast, at which point he told officers he felt a sting in his chest. Were those chest pains a hoax as well?
Apparently, I don't know if they were a hoax as well, but he has been released. He didn't spend very much time in the hospital.
How do you do that?
Last year, MTV exposed Stone Coleman, whose stage name is Kid Cole, on its hit reality TV show Catfish. At the time, he'd reportedly led a girl to believe he was a successful music producer and in turn bilked her out of thousands of dollars.
Getting him off the street is a big win for our customers, and it's a big win for law enforcement.
And Stone Coleman is expected in U.S. District Court tomorrow. This is a federal case with federal charges because of the allegations of terrorism. In Southeast, I'm Kevin Lewis, News Channel 8.
Metro's plan to upgrade some of its subway cars is being held up over federal approval. Metro planned to buy 220 new state-of-the-art cars known as the 7000 series. But the $431 million purchase needs approval from the Federal Transit Administration first, and the agency isn't convinced. Riders are also divided over whether the new cars are necessary.
I think the cars need to be updated.
Some of the trains really are old, they smell, it's not pleasant.
I think the Metro as it is right now is in pretty good condition.
The fight over the new cars is time sensitive. Pricing for the new 7000 series is locked in with the manufacturer. The agreement only lasts until July. Nearly $50 million, that's the new estimate for the cost of the Baltimore riot on the city and its residents. The figure includes $20 million being taken from the city's rainy day fund to pay for police overtime. Another $20 million goes to the National Guard and state response. The Small Business Administration had previously estimated businesses sustained more than $9 million in damage. Today, the Maryland congressional delegation asked the president to issue a major disaster declaration. Surveillance camera video shows two men arguing inside a District Heights convenience store. Minutes later, Prince George's County Police say the two robbed a man, threatening him with a machete. The robbery took place on April 24th around 10:15 in the morning on County Road. If you recognize the suspects, call the Prince George's County Police. An invasive species of fish is breeding in the waters of Wicomico and Queen Anne's counties in Maryland. The Department of Natural Resources wants fishermen to kill any northern snakeheads they find and report the sightings to the state. It's illegal to possess or release a snakehead in Maryland and Virginia. They prey on native fish and upset local ecosystems. A Charles County Sheriff's officer is being hailed as a hero. Neighbors say they called 911 after seeing flames coming out of a home along Greenwood Court in Waldorf. Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell picks up the story from there.
It was a bad fire growing and moving fast through the small Waldorf house. Officer V. Worker heard the horrifying radio call.
553 should be one trapped in the house.
He's a cop, not a firefighter, but he knew he had to respond.
Somebody was trapped. It's my job to go in and try to help.
He's all aw shucks now, but after midnight Monday, he faced a life and death situation.
The fire was at least 40 feet above the roof in the rear. Heavy smoke throughout the entire area.
As Worker arrives, resident Ashley Gawthorpe holds her 3-year-old daughter. They got out, but she's yelling that her husband Leon Hendricks is still inside.
It's pretty intense and pretty overwhelming.
Worker forces open the front door. Faced with the brutal conditions, the deputy said he crouched down, came into the house, and then got lucky. Just about right here, he saw the victim's socks, his feet, and he managed to pull him out of the fire.
It was relief for that gentleman, and relief for me that they would be able to go home and see my family.
Tonight, Hendricks is hospitalized but recovering with the support of his family. His mother-in-law says he knows he owes his life to Worker.
I think if he had stayed in there just another couple seconds, and that would have been it.
I'd rather run into bullets in a gunfight than have to run into a fire. I'm just glad I was able to get him out.
In Waldorf, Brad Bell, News Channel 8.
Nearly a dozen people are now missing after historic floods in Houston. More on efforts to find those who were swept away, and now people are preparing for even more rain. Here in Washington, hot and muggy conditions. Here's a live look over Washington right now. Devin Lucy's full forecast is next in 2 minutes. Expect fewer hurricanes than normal coming from the Atlantic this year. NOAA released its initial outlook for the season today. Forecasters predict that the East Coast will see less than a handful of major storm systems with winds over 75 miles an hour. Hurricane season officially runs from June 1st to November 30th. In Texas, the search continues for 10 people who remain missing after historic levels of rain. The severe weather has claimed at least 6 lives. Thousands of homes are damaged, some totally lost. Making matters worse, rain is still falling. Authorities are urging residents to listen to weather alerts.
We're talking about a flood that happened 4 days ago. It doesn't take much. We are saturated, folks. The isolated thunderstorms could cause immediate local flooding in your area.
Rescue workers are using helicopters with infrared cameras to look for missing people. The bad weather threatens to linger, though. Forecasts call for a 20 to 40% chance of thunderstorms through the rest of the week in Houston. Devin Lucy is back with us. Not a good situation for them at all.
No, not at all. They broke extreme drought, but then you brought everything down all at once. Now, we've had at least decent weather in the sense that it hasn't been too extreme. Only heat and humidity might have reached levels you thought, it's getting pretty darn hot. Humidity is really, really high as well.
The severe thunderstorm watch petered out earlier, and we didn't have it. That
we had
good.
2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and that was it. That was for Hagerstown front. Let's get to the storms that are out right now. Storm Watch 7 Doppler radar, very, very widely isolated. One thunderstorm, maybe even fading showers. We get well past sunset over the next 2 hours. Rain should completely go away. Storm Watch 7 Doppler radar over the region will go in close. Storm Watch 7 live Doppler from the regional loop, and you can see one shower, which was actually a pretty intense thunderstorm, exploded right over Woodbridge, is now starting to fade as it moved through Lorton, right over Springfield addresses, right around Lusby, southern Calvert County is the last of an intense thunderstorm. There's a little bit of heavier rain west of Winchester right now. Fading showers that went from around Darnestown, Gaithersburg, Rockville. The last of it, Laytonsville, what it did was actually put a really pretty picture getting closer to sunset. A rainbow caught on camera. I'll show you to you shortly, shared here on Twitter. There's the last of a heavier rain and thunderstorm that blew up right over Woodbridge, went over Lorton. There it is. Look at itself, and it's now kind of rained itself out as it's moving into some Springfield addresses north of Mount Vernon. A little bit of rain is moving into Old Town right now, but it should be just rain as it moves there. Off the southern tip of Calvert County, right around Lusby, that's the last of a storm that's over that direction, pushing into the bay. And here's a look at this right now, shared by Leela Z, Gaithersburg. Beautiful, beautiful shot of that at least a rainbow with the fading showers. They came over that little rain activity that passed on through. Let's really look ahead into our forecast. We've got a fading front here responsible for sparking the storms today. The heat and humidity is fully upon us here. What we've got is a stronger, even more well-defined cold front, but heat and humidity so strong, so firmly in place, it either forces these fronts north and east around it, or as the fronts try to enter the heat and humidity, they fade away. So we still have storm chances to go through. Temps subside a little bit going into Friday. It's just still about this big block of high pressure associated with the heat and humidity that still dominates even all the way until the weekend. Fading front is here. Once that's passed and we fully set the sun, we're done with it. Tomorrow, it's another day. You don't need a jacket whatsoever. You're waking up to a warm and humid start. Heat and humidity is back again. Scattered showers and storms most likely noon all the way up through 8. Heart of the day, right to about 3 to 6 are usually the time frames, the hottest part of the day, the likeliest storm activity. Near 90 could be there once again. Widely scattered storms Friday. Temperatures subside just a little bit, lower to mid 80s, but heat and humidity is still here through the weekend until Sunday. That's where this stronger actual cold front will blow through. And look at that, drops temps all the way from near 90, highs all the way to the 60s and lower 70s to next week in your full forecast presented by FH Fur.
All right, thank you, Devin. Hyundai has become the first automaker to directly offer Google's Android Auto. The system that integrates Google's Android smartphone with the vehicle is premiering on the 2015 Hyundai Sonata and will later be rolled out on other models. Owners of the 2015 Sonata with navigation can get the update immediately for free at dealerships. The future doesn't look good for the Michael Kors brand. The stock plunged nearly 25% today to its lowest level since December 2012. The company admits this year's sales and earnings will likely be less than what's expected. Michael Kors officials blame tough competition and the impact of the strong dollar on international shoppers. iPhone users, listen up. One text message can crash anyone's iPhone. Here's how it works. The text message contains specific Latin and Arabic characters. Once it's sent, the receiving iPhone crashes. It will come back on by itself in about 15 seconds, but users say it disables iMessage until you delete the conversation. Experts say the glitch could be caused by an error in how iPhones display incoming messages. Apple says it's working on a fix. Racketeering, bribery, and money laundering. Those are just some of the charges being brought against more than a dozen soccer officials. The latest in the FIFA fraud scandal, straight ahead.
You're watching News Channel 8's nonstop local news.
Australia is passing new laws targeting citizens who engage in terrorism. Prime Minister Tony Abbott announced dual nationals could be stripped of their Australian citizenship if they're found to be fighting for or supporting terrorist groups. Residents there have mixed feelings about the new law.
Should they be allowed back?
I think yes, they should. They should come back. They should get allowed. Nah. Everyone done that now.
And why do you think they should be allowed back?
Well, they're Australian citizens, really, aren't they?
Should they be allowed back?
The immigration minister will be the one to decide if a dual national loses his citizenship. And it sounds like something out of a video game. More than 1,000 Chinese police officers took part in a sting operation that resulted in the arrest of 175 suspected tomb raiders. They're accused of stealing ancient artifacts in northeast China. Thousands of cultural relics were recovered, worth more than $80 million. The heist is the biggest of its kind in 65 years. The Justice Department is laying out charges against some of the most powerful officials in the world of soccer. Federal prosecutors are charging 14 top officials in FIFA with racketeering, bribery, money laundering, and fraud. The indictment says the scheme started in the early 90s and involved more than $150 million in bribes.
They were expected to uphold the rules that keep soccer honest and to protect the integrity of the game. Instead, they corrupted the business of worldwide soccer to serve their interests and to enrich themselves.
The Justice Department says the scheme was not to rig the results of the matches, but to control the selection process for host cities, as well as lucrative marketing contracts. Prosecutors are still investigating if the alleged corruption cost the U.S. its bid to host the 2022 World Cup. Hot and muggy for the rest of the week. Devin's back with an updated 7-day forecast right after this. An Ohio family is celebrating a huge milestone today. Caleb Robinson will receive his high school diploma, but both of his parents are also getting degrees. His parents graduated from Malone University earlier this month. Dad, Anthony, a master's degree in theological studies. Mom, Juanita, a bachelor's in organizational management. The family says the timing was not planned, but they couldn't be happier to celebrate the milestones together. Good for them.
Cool. Yeah, really, really neat. Sounds like he can start the
Everybody's
church. His
graduated.
wife can help run the operation out there. It's all
right.
It's all perfect.
So we had a lot of little things churning up today,
Yeah.
but nothing as major as we worried about.
Really didn't have
Yeah.
severe storms over the immediate metro. Still a very isolated storm activity is going on. One that developed right over Woodbridge. That's going on right now, moving up towards Lorton. Fading shower that's still around Rockville to Gaithersburg. More heavy storm activity has been south around Annapolis. That's been around Shadyside earlier, and it's now moving out and actually closer to Bay Bridge, so it's really moving out to sea. Fading showers west of Winchester as well. 7-day forecast, heat and humidity still extends to the weekend until scour out heat and humidity with our final cold front Sunday. Getting really cool thereafter.
Yeah. All right, we're back in 2.5 minutes. More live weather and news next.